The world begins to fade into a soft, velvet silence as we prepare to embark on a journey to the very edge of the earth, a land where the spine of the world meets the endless, rhythmic pulsing of the Pacific. Imagine yourself standing where the continent finally exhales, in the long, slender ribbon of earth known as Chile, a place defined by the quiet grandeur of extremes and the slow, steady heartbeat of ancient stone. We begin our descent into a state of perfect stillness as the air grows crisp and thin, carrying the faint, metallic scent of distant snow and the salt-heavy mist that rolls in from a sea that has no end. Feel the weight of the day lifting away, replaced by the vast, open canopy of a southern sky, where the stars seem to hang lower, pulsing with a gentle silver light that guides us deeper into this landscape of solitude. Every breath you take is cool and refreshing, like water from a mountain spring, filling your lungs with the purity of the Andes, those silent, watchful giants that cradle the horizon in a permanent embrace of granite and ice. There is no rush here, only the slow, tectonic shift of time and the way the golden hour lingers upon the peaks, turning the world into a canvas of soft violets, deep ochres, and the palest, most delicate shades of blue. As we settle into this space, the sounds of the modern world dissolve into the background, replaced by the distant, low-frequency hum of the wind moving through high-altitude grasses and the rhythmic, hypnotic lapping of waves against a rugged, charcoal-colored coastline. You are safe, you are held by the earth, and the journey ahead is one of pure, effortless observation, where the only requirement is to let the beauty of this distant land wash over you like a warm, incoming tide. The shadows are lengthening now, stretching across the central valleys where the vines sleep in neat, orderly rows, their leaves shivering ever so slightly in the evening breeze. We are moving southward, away from the heat of the day, towards the regions where the forests grow thick and ancient, draped in moss that dampens every sound, creating a natural sanctuary of absolute peace. In this realm, the trees have seen centuries pass like single afternoons, and their presence is a heavy, comforting blanket of green that invites you to close your eyes and simply listen to the earth breathing. There is a profound sense of belonging in this stillness, a realization that we are merely guests in a kingdom of water, stone, and wind, where the elements speak a language of soft sighs and melodic creaks. The light is now a thin, shimmering line of copper on the western horizon, and as it disappears, it leaves behind a world of soft textures and muted colors, perfectly designed for rest. You can feel the coolness of the evening settling onto your skin, a gentle pressure that encourages you to let go of every tension every thought and every worry, drifting instead into the vast, quiet expanses of the Chilean wilderness. We are drifting together, floating over the jagged peaks and the hidden fjords, guided by the moonlight that reflects off the mirror-like surfaces of hidden lakes, where the water is so still it seems to hold the entire universe within its depths. This is the beginning of our passage, a slow-motion glide through a land of fire and ice, where the only direction is deeper into the heart of the quiet, and the only destination is the peaceful embrace of a dreamless sleep. Every valley we cross and every glacier we witness is a testament to the enduring beauty of our world, a reminder that there are still places where silence is the only language spoken. As the night deepens, the landscape becomes a shadow play of silhouettes against a starlit sky, wrapping you in a cocoon of tranquility that feels as ancient as the mountains themselves. As we move deeper into the heart of this land, the air begins to tell its own story through scents and sounds that linger in the stillness. Imagine the sharp, refreshing fragrance of crushed eucalyptus leaves carried on a cool breeze that has traveled thousands of miles across the open ocean. It is a scent that clears the mind, leaving only a sense of crystalline clarity and peace. Below us, the earth exhales a rich, damp aroma of ancient soil and rain-soaked bark, a perfume of life that has remained unchanged for millennia. You can almost taste the purity of the atmosphere, as if the very oxygen is a tonic that settles deep within your chest, grounding you to this narrow strip of sacred earth. The silence here is never truly empty. It is composed of 1,000 small, delicate layers of sound. Listen closely to the distant, hollow boom of a calving glacier miles away in the southern fjords, a deep, resonant vibration that travels through the ground like a low-frequency heartbeat. Nearer to us, there is the soft, silver trickle of meltwater dancing over smooth volcanic pebbles, creating a melodic, hypnotic chime that repeats over and over in a perfect, natural loop. These sounds do not demand your attention, they simply exist, a background hum that lulls your conscious mind into a state of effortless floating drift. As evening turns to deep night, the wind begins to whisper through the stiff, golden stalks of the pampa grass, producing a dry, rhythmic rustle like the sound of a long, slow exhale. It is the voice of the wilderness, speaking in hushed tones about the vastness of the plains and the height of the peaks. You might hear the distant, lonely call of a chimango hawk, a single melodic note that hangs in the air before dissolving into the violet shadows. Everything is balanced, every sound is a soft cushion, and every scent is a gentle invitation to surrender your weight to the cooling earth and let the world carry you. In the coastal villages, the air changes, becoming heavy with the scent of wood smoke and the briny, ozonic tang of the sea. You can hear the rhythmic, heavy thud of the Pacific rollers hitting the dark, basalt cliffs, a sound so consistent and so powerful that it begins to sync with your own breathing. It is a deep, rhythmic thumping, like a giant drum played in the slowest possible tempo, a reminder of the immense, tireless energy of the water. The salt spray hangs in the air like a fine, cooling mist, coating the colorful wooden houses and the cobbled streets in a quiet, glistening dampness. We wander further into the high, arid plains of the north, where the air is so dry it carries the faint, dusty scent of sun-baked clay and ancient minerals. Here, the silence is even more profound, a heavy, absolute quiet that feels like a physical presence. Occasionally, the ground beneath you creaks ever so slightly, a tiny crystalline snap as the rocks contract in the cooling night air. This is the sound of the desert adjusting itself, preparing for the long, cold hours under the watchful gaze of a million stars. It is a landscape of textures, where the sand feels like silk and the wind feels like a soft velvet brush against your skin. Close your eyes and let these impressions merge into a single, flowing tapestry of sensation. The cool mist, the scent of the sea, the distant rumble of the mountains, and the soft rustle of the grass. They are all part of the same peaceful dream. You are no longer a traveler. You are a part of the landscape, moving with the shadows and breathing with the wind. There is nothing left to do and nowhere left to go but deeper into this state of perfect oceanic calm, where the world is a soft, shimmering reflection and your mind is a still, dark pool reflecting the eternal light of the Southern Cross. To understand this land, one must look at the slow, deliberate pace of its people and the way they have woven their lives into the fabric of the mountains and the sea. Imagine a small, smoke-filled kitchen in the heart of the Southern Islands, where the scent of baking bread and toasted flour lingers in the heavy, warm air. Here, time is measured not by hours, but by the slow, rhythmic boiling of a kettle and the shared, quiet ritual of the mate gourd, passed from hand to hand, a bitter, herbal warmth that connects the soul to the earth and to the ancestors who sat by this same fire centuries ago. There is no urgency here, only a deep, unspoken understanding that the world moves at its own ancient pace. In the high, lonely valleys of the Andes, the life of the vaquero or the huaso is a song of solitude and endurance. Watch in your mind's eye as they move with their herds across the vast, golden plains, their silhouettes dark and sharp against the towering white peaks. Their clothing is made of the thickest wool, hand-woven on ancient looms, carrying the scent of sheep and wood smoke and the high, dry wind. Every stitch and every pattern tells a story of a family, a village, or a mountain pass that has been traveled for generations. It is a life of quiet, stoic beauty, where the only music is the rhythmic, metallic jingle of spurs and the soft, low lowing of the cattle in the evening air. Along the coast, the culture is shaped by the relentless turquoise power of the Pacific. The fishermen, with their skin tanned and creased like old leather, work in harmony with the tides, moving with a grace that only comes from a lifetime on the water. Their boats are painted in bright, defiant colors, yellows, reds, and greens that stand out against the moody, gray mist of the morning. You can hear the rhythmic, wet slap of the nets being mended on the docks, and the low, melodic murmur of voices discussing the secrets of the deep. It is a world of salt and patience, where every catch is a gift, and every storm is a reminder of our own fragile place in the universe. In the bustling yet soulful neighborhoods of the cities like Valparaiso, life is an explosion of color and hidden stairways that lead into the clouds. The walls are covered in intricate cinematic murals that tell the history of a people who have survived earthquakes and fires and the long, cold nights of the soul. You can hear the distant, melancholic strain of an accordion echoing through a narrow, cobbled alleyway, a sound that is both haunting and comforting, like an old memory surfacing in a dream. The air is filled with the aroma of sizzling empanadas and sweet fried dough, a sensory map of a culture that celebrates every moment of existence. Deep in the south, among the Chiloé archipelago, the houses, or palafitos, stand on tall wooden stilts reaching out over the shimmering tidal waters. They are built of sturdy larch shingles that have turned a beautiful silvery gray with the salt and the rain. Inside, the rooms are small and cozy, filled with the sound of the wind whistling through the cracks and the rhythmic, heavy creak of the timber as it settles into the soft mud below. It is a place of myths and legends where the forest and the sea are inhabited by spirits that guide the way through the thickest fog and the darkest nights, a sanctuary of storytelling and warmth. As you drift further into this world, you realize that the heart of Chile is found in these quiet, everyday moments. The way a hand rests on a weathered fence, the way a voice softens in the twilight, and the way a fire burns down to glowing orange embers. Everything is connected: the mountains, the people, and the dreams that rise like mist from the cold southern ground. You are held in this tapestry of life, a witness to a story that began long before you arrived and will continue long after you have fallen into a deep and perfect sleep.
As we drift further into the quiet, the mind begins to open to the strange and wonderful secrets that this land holds, tucked away in the shadows of the mountains and the depths of the stars. Did you know that in the high, bone-dry reaches of the Atacama, there are places where rain has never been recorded in all of human history? It is a landscape so alien and so pure that scientists use it to practice for missions to Mars, imagining the silence of another world. Yet here, life still finds a way in the form of tiny, ancient lichens that drink the morning mist as if it were the finest nectar. It is a reminder that even in the absolute stillness, there is a persistent, quiet pulse of existence. Deep beneath the surface of the central valleys lies a hidden treasure that is not gold or silver, but a rare, deep blue stone known as lapis lazuli. Found in only 2 places on Earth, it is the color of the ocean at midnight and the sky just before the first star appears. For thousands of years, the people of this land have carved this stone into talismans of peace and wisdom. Imagine the cool, smooth weight of such a stone in your palm, a piece of the Earth's own heart, formed over millions of years in the dark, silent pressure of the mountain's core. Its blue is so deep, it feels as though you could fall into it and find an endless, tranquil sea. High above us, in the thin, crystalline air, Chile serves as the world's window to the universe. More than half of the Earth's telescopic power is concentrated here, silent giants of steel and glass perched on the desert peaks like lonely sentinels. They watch the birth of stars and the death of galaxies in a silence so profound it feels as though the universe itself is holding its breath. The light that these mirrors catch has traveled for billions of years through the cold, empty void, only to land with a soft silver touch on a mountain in Chile. You are sleeping under the clearest sky on Earth, where the distance between you and the edge of creation feels like nothing more than a thin, transparent veil.
In the south, among the ancient emerald forests, there lives a creature so small it seems like a figment of a dream, the manito del monte, or the little monkey of the mountain. Despite its name, it is a tiny nocturnal marsupial, a living fossil that has remained unchanged for over 40 million years. It spends its life in a slow, rhythmic hibernation, tucked into a nest of moss and soft leaves, deep within the hollow of an ancient tree. Its heartbeat slows to a mere whisper, and its breath becomes a soft, infrequent sigh as it waits for the world to turn. A perfect example of how to survive by simply letting go and resting. The very trees that shelter it, the ancient Alerce giants, are among the oldest living beings on this planet. Some have stood in the damp southern mists for over 3,000 years, witnessing the rise and fall of entire civilizations from their quiet, mossy thrones. Their bark is thick and protective, like a weathered wooden armor, and their roots reach deep into the cool, dark earth, connecting them to the very beginning of time. To stand in their presence is to feel the weight of history dissolve into a single, peaceful moment, a realization that our worries are but tiny, fleeting shadows in the face of such enduring green silence. There is a strange and beautiful phenomenon along the coast known as the Camanchaca, a thick, creeping fog that rolls in from the sea like a silent, white ghost. It carries the life-giving moisture of the Pacific into the driest corners of the land, draping the jagged rocks and the desert cacti in a soft, cooling blanket. People have learned to catch this fog using large, silken nets that harvest the water drop by drop, a slow, patient gathering of the clouds themselves. It is a testament to the wisdom of living in harmony with the invisible, finding sustenance in the mist and peace in the ever-changing gray light of the shore. Part 5. Scale and Context. To truly feel the scale of this land, one must imagine the colossal forces that pushed the earth toward the heavens, forming the jagged spine of the Andes millions of years ago. This is a place where geography is the ultimate storyteller, a narrow corridor caught between the world's highest mountains and the world's deepest ocean, stretching over 4,000 kilometers from the burning salt flats to the frozen heart of Antarctica. It is a landscape of constant, patient movement where the tectonic plates grind slowly in a deep, subterranean dance, creating a land that is always subtly being reborn in the silence of the geological night. Think of the ancient travelers, the first people who crossed the high passes and settled in the hidden valleys long before the world had a name. They left behind mysterious geoglyphs etched into the desert floor, massive figures like the Atacama giant that can only be understood from the sky. These are silent, earthen echoes of a time when humanity lived in perfect, rhythmic alignment with the sun and the moon and the shifting stars. They understood that they were merely guests in a kingdom of stone, and their presence was a soft, temporary breath against the eternal granite face of the Cordillera. The history of this land is written in the ice of the southern glaciers, those massive, slow-moving rivers of frozen time. Each layer of blue and white holds a record of 1,000 winters and 1,000 summers, trapping the air of a world that existed long before we were born. As the ice creaks and groans in its slow, terminal crawl toward the sea, it releases a cold, ancient energy that fills the air with a sense of immense, crushing power. And yet, there is a strange, delicate peace in the way the bergs float away, like silent glass cathedrals, melting back into the rhythmic, dark waters of the fjord. From the northern heights, where the air is thin and the volcanoes sleep under blankets of snow, to the southern tip at Cape Horn, where the two great oceans collide in a fury of foam and salt, Chile is a study in dramatic contrasts. It is a land that has survived the fire of the earth and the ice of the ages, standing firm against the endless, battering winds of the Pacific. This isolation has created a sanctuary, a world within a world, where evolution has taken its own peculiar path, and where the spirit can find a vast, open space to simply be and to breathe without the noise of the distant modern world. As we look at the map in our mind's eye, we see the intricate fractal beauty of the southern coastline, where the earth dissolves into 1,000 silver fragments of islands, channels, and fjords. It is a labyrinth of water and stone, where the boundaries between the elements become blurred and the sea reaches deep into the heart of the mountains. This is the end of the world and the beginning of a new, quiet understanding that the earth is large and we are small, and there is a profound healing comfort in being so beautifully insignificant in the face of such majestic, enduring scale. You are drifting over this vast southern expanse, feeling the weight of the continent beneath you and the lightness of the sky above. The history, the geography, and the myths are now just soft, distant whispers in the cooling air. Every mountain peak and every ocean wave is a gentle, rhythmic reminder that you are safe, you are held, and you are a part of a grand, slow, and perfect design. The scale of the world is no longer daunting. It is a wide, soft, velvet cradle that invites you to let go of the day and slide into the deep, quiet, dark waters of a dreamless and restorative sleep. The journey is now coming to its natural, peaceful end, as the last light of consciousness flickers like a distant, dying star over the peaks of the Andes. You are no longer moving through the landscape. You have become the landscape itself. Your breath is the soft, rhythmic sigh of the Pacific, and your heart is the slow, steady pulse of the ancient volcanic earth. The world of names and numbers and worries has dissolved into a warm, dark sea of pure, effortless being. There is nothing left to accomplish and no further to go but deeper into the velvet embrace of the night. Imagine yourself floating in a high mountain pool where the water is as warm and as still as a dream. The surface is a perfect dark mirror reflecting the entire shimmering universe above you. You can feel the gravity of the earth gently pulling at every muscle, every bone, every thought, encouraging you to surrender to the weight of your own relaxation. The air is a cool silver silk against your skin, carrying the faint, distant scent of cedar wood and the cold, pure breath of the glaciers. It is a moment of absolute, crystalline clarity and profound, unending peace. The stars are now soft, glowing pulses in the deep indigo sky, as if the heavens are breathing with you in perfect rhythmic unison. One by one, The constellations begin to fade into a soft gray mist as the world wraps itself in a blanket of silver and shadow. You are drifting beyond the mountains, beyond the sea, beyond the very edge of time, into a space where there is only silence and the soft, melodic hum of the void. It is a sanctuary that has been waiting for you since the beginning of all things, a place where you are perfectly, eternally safe. Listen to the final fading notes of the wind as it moves through the ancient lichen-covered rocks. It is a lullaby that the earth has been singing for millions of years, a song of endurance and rest and the beauty of the quiet. The darkness is not an empty space, but a rich, comforting presence, like the deep, soft fur of a sleeping creature, or the dark, heavy roots of the alerce tree, reaching down into the warm, silent center of the world. You are sinking into this warmth, feeling its heavy, golden pressure on your eyelids and your mind and your soul. Every memory of the colorful houses, the blue ice, the golden grass, and the starry desert is now a soft, shimmering blur, merging into a single golden light that glows at the very center of your being. This light is your own inner peace, a steady, inextinguishable flame that will carry you through the night and into the quiet stillness of the dawn. You are ready to let the last silver thread of the world snap and to fall into the deep, soft, bottomless clouds of a restorative and dreamless sleep. The passage is complete. The mountains are sleeping, the sea is still, and the wind has fallen to a whisper. You are home, in the heart of the quiet, in the embrace of the dark, in the soft, perfect ending of the story. Good night, little traveler. May your dreams be as vast and as beautiful as the land we have shared. May you rest in the silence of the stones and the light of the stars until the world begins again. Sleep now, sleep in the deep, eternal peace of Chile. Good night, good night, good night.